to enter our operating screen. This would be a typical page a customer would use to view for seating. We have a dashboard along the bottom, two mini views, our Auto Sectional Control mini view, our view of our tanks, and then the guidance page showing the painted job. For our functional test, we'll need to reconfigure the dashboard along the bottom. To do so, touch anywhere on the screen. Ensure that we are displaying fan speed, all of our tanks, and ground speed. To change what's in the boxes under each tank, reselect it. I'll select tank 1. We would like to display application rate, metering, RPM, and motor load. The check mark, proceed to tank 2. Change that to motor load. Tank 3. Four, 5. Once we're happy with what's along the bottom, hit the green check mark. Now we should save this screen as our functional test screen. To enter the global home screen mode save, you press and hold the hidden area above the Top Gun logo at the bottom, and we can enter a new global home screen. We already have one called functional test, but we'll create a second one, and we'll just call it function test 2. Okay. To access these home screens, you just simply tap that hidden area. We have our function test and our function test 2. Two slightly different views of the same thing. Okay. Next we're going to go to our global home screen to display our calibration. I have one labeled Area Cal. And we have to enter a manual speed. We have a manual speed of 5 miles an hour. Okay. Next you should touch this image of the satellite, top left corner. And when you're hooked up to GPS, you should have position. We're not hooked up in this tractor, but you should have position indicating latitude, longitude, easting, northing, and such. That indicates you have a GPS inputting from the tractor correctly. Move that from the screen. We'll go to a global home screen called Filling, so we can enter our product in the tank. To enter product in the tank, we have test wheat hard red. Expand that and we can enter that screen. Select the product name, and we have our test wheat. Enter that. You can view our preset 1, preset 2, our increments. If we drag the slide bar on the right hand side down to the bottom, now we can view the ranges. Each of the metering augers on the tank has 3 ranges, a low, mid, and high. For our functional test, we want to test the upper limits of the system, so we'll probably want to be in low for all of our different settings so we can test the upper limits of the rates. Okay, note that for future reference. And it asks us if we want to fill the tanks. We can hit yes to see if it's added that product into there. Repeat this process for the rest of the tanks. Okay. Go back to our functional test and make sure we turn on all of the tanks we wish to test. If your indicator in the lower right hand corner is red, that's our master clutch switch. You simply touch it to find out what's not working. For our example, the fan speed to start is not working. So As indicated in the indicator, we have 0 fan speed. Our tractor is not running. We'll start our tractor right now. And we'll engage our hydraulics for our fans. As soon as our tractor is ready. Fan 1, you can see the RPM climbing. Fan 2, the RPM is climbing. It's gone above the 1000 RPM threshold. And now our master clutch is white. If you focus in on the dashboard at the bottom, you'll notice that we have our motor load and RPM under both of all of the tanks, as well our manual ground speed. So with an empty tank, you can simply hit the master clutch on the touchscreen and you'll view motor load and our RPM. Across the screen. Test the function of each of the tanks, hitting the switch, virtual switches. Notice it turned it off. Back on again. Test them with the switch box. One. It goes off. 2, 3, 4, 5, so on. Repeat this process with the switch box on the drill, or on the tank, sorry. Viewing the motor load. Now to test the upper limits of the system, we would first hit our increment increase. Shows it going to 130. Shows the RPM changing and the application rate changing down below. Go back to our primary rate. Test that on each of the tanks. Next we'll go up to our fictitiously high rate. We'll do this on tank 1 of 400 pounds per acre. Note the motor load went to 95%. That would indicate that it cannot achieve the rate requested. And after some time we will get a warning. Go back to the 120. Repeat this process till you're confident that each metering auger is being controlled by the monitor as well as the switch box. If you recall, in setup we assigned button A on the switch box to increase the rate, increase them all. Button B to decrease the rate by the increments we preset. We have our master switch on our switch box. Controls the tank. We also have our button C, lower left corner. Touch it. Starts the prime function. Prime starts the metering augers for that preset time and then shuts it back off. We should also check all of our sections. So we can do so here. Turn the master on. When there's seat at each section, they'll go green. You can hit each section one at a time, following each section. At this time, you should have a partner back at the Auto Sectional Control manifold viewing the section gates opening and closing for each of the sections one at a time. Then follow the hoses going to each manifold. We'll show you that later in the video. We will now turn the master clutch off. We'll leave our tank clutch on, and we're going to proceed to the tank to check some function of other things out on the tank.